um, in a long time, and I'm sorry for that. Sorry, I've got my ear defenders in, so I don't know how loud I'm talking. Um, Today was a physically difficult and an emotional day today. Um, I'll start with why I've not been filming anything. I've not been uploading or filming anything because I haven't really had anything to film. It's just been kind of the same stuff, same day in, same day out. And I have had dentist appointments, but I've not been able to get to them. There was a whole mix up with the hospital thing, and then the next appointment I was offered, I wasn't able to take it because Jordan couldn't get the time off to take me, which is no fault of his own, and I don't blame him. But today an OT came around. Oh, before we get to that, I've also just been like reading my Bible a lot. I've done some posts here and there, some community posts, and talking to people online and stuff. I started a Facebook group for Christian women called Sisters in Christ, and it's a private group. And some other things have happened as well, which are better, but one of them is sleeping right now. And looks like an Ewok, like a little mini Ewok. But anyway, today an OT finally came round, an occupational therapist, and she did an actual assessment. She said that my situation is very complicated from many perspectives and many angles. She saw how physically disabled I actually am, and my mental problems, and she is still going where others have said that they can write out an assessment report because there's nothing to assess because of how unsuitable my living situation is. This lady actually said she would write one out explaining how unsuitable my living situation is. So it was physically difficult because I had to sit in the living room, and I ended up actually lying on a sofa or couch or whatever you want to call it. And then I was in too much pain to demonstrate how I get into the shower, but I managed to demonstrate how I get onto the toilet and why the bathroom door doesn't close and stuff like that. And she says this house is completely unsuitable, especially because of how my body needs to be positioned. So I wouldn't be able to use like what is it called, a propping stool or something. It's like kind of a chair that kind of holds you in a sort of standing up position, which I wouldn't be able to use because it would put too much strain and pull on my pelvis and on my hips and my back. So she's determined that I need an accessible house and that there's no adaptations and nothing at all that can be done to this flat to do what I need done. And she's also going to contact some other groups, like cancer support, Macmillan Cancer Support. They have like this little subgroup that help with rehousing people who are 60 and over, but there's also another little kind of side group attached to that or that's related to that, and she's going to see if they'll help me to get housing. And then so I'm feeling quite sore and quite tired and very overstimulated and just very fragile. and I wanted to sit and read. I wanted to sit and read my Bible and just relax for a bit. But then upstairs started her music again. I don't know if you can hear it through my phone, but she's been told so many times by my housing officer, my landlord, to turn it down and to keep it turned down. The woman upstairs also knows how ill I am, and she has even mocked my mother, telling her that I wasn't going to be coming back when my mum and my sons were watching me being rushed off to hospital. When my mum's gone upstairs to ask her to turn it down, she's put her hands on my mother like this. And like, my mum was standing by the stairs and she could have really hurt my mother. And the housing officer, the landlord, has told her to like turn it down and explained why. And she wouldn't do it. So I kept telling the housing officer, and the housing officer kept telling her, and eventually she turned it down a bit. But now she's turned it back up. It's been turned up back to the point that when my mum was over visiting me, we were sitting in my living room. We couldn't even have a conversation. And normally stuff like this doesn't bother my mum. But this time she got a really bad headache and they had to leave. So I couldn't spend time with my family because the woman upstairs wanted to blare her music and drone it down my walls. And it's this really horrible sounding music. It's very like, it's this low droning tone. Like, so I'm sitting in my bedroom and I just want to read, and I've had to put my ear defenders in and I can still hear it. I feel sick. I have a headache. I emailed my housing officer and I saw that it was out of hours, and in her last email to me she said if it's out of hours you need to call the council, the city council, and talk to the noise complaints department. So I did that, and the first woman who books in the call, the initial noise complaint, she was really nice, really understanding, really kind and patient with me because I can't really speak on the phone. She also informed me that I can do it I can do it online. I don't have to call in. And then she told me to wait for a call back. And I got the call back and I explained the situation, and I explained my mental health and my physical disabilities and my sensory issues. And she spoke to me like I was a ridiculous child Karen. She talked to me like I was an idiot, like I was being petty. She told me that until 7 o'clock, it's peak noise hour. Sorry, my thumb was out of place a bit. Until it's 7 o'clock, it's peak noise hour, and she can basically do what she wants. And unless it's booming and after 7, they can't and won't do anything. And she just kept repeating herself over and over and over again, even when I wasn't like saying anything, and I started to cry because I feel so overwhelmed and so overstimulated. And I did cry, and because of that I stopped speaking for a second, and she was really like, hello, are you there? And I was like, yeah, I'm here. And I tried to explain again, and she just got pissy with me. So now I am going to have to sit with sensory overload. Sorry. I'm going to have to sit with sensory overload, in pain, taking all the pain killers that I can for now, feeling very overwhelmed, feeling very unwell, with a headache and nausea. And I'm going to have to put on my audio Bible, Netflix, YouTube, music, when I'm already feeling extremely sensitive to sound. I'll be back in a bit. I think that's my mum. So I'm back, and instead of having to put my audio Bible on, it was my mum who came over with my cubs, and I had to sit with my ear defenders in and try to act as normal as possible while my cubs asked 1,000,001 questions and ran around and asked for this, that, and the next thing like cubs do. And I think they've just left, and I think she's finally turned the music down or off. But I can't really tell right now, because when I take my ear defenders out, it's like this whoosh, whoosh, whoosh noise in my ears, and I can't really hear much over it. I'm just so drained. Like, up until that point, even though I was so drained and exhausted and in a fair bit of pain, all in all, it felt like a positive day. I finally got heard and seen and understood by somebody who's meant to be helping me, and it's rare that that happens. But it finally happened today, and I've been praying for that for a long time, for a good long while, and it finally happened today. God answered my prayers, and he's been answering a lot of them recently. So even though it was all those things, and I felt so sore and so drained and tired, and I just wanted to nap and read and stuff, she turned that music on, and it was like it's just too much. Then my mum came over and the cubs, and my mum was like helping me out, and she adjusted my shoulder, and well, she didn't mean to adjust my shoulder. She was trying to, I've got like a lot of knots and stuff, and she accidentally adjusted whatever that kind of plate bone at the back of your upper back is, like by your shoulder. She accidentally pushed that back into place, and I didn't even realise it was out, and my kids sort of did their thing, and when you this, that, and the next thing, it's all a lot. And I just feel completely I don't even know how to word it. I don't know how to put it. I feel, you know, that way when you're just so emotionally drained that you feel like you can barely keep your eyes open and you could just sleep for a lifetime. And that's me right now. Not only is this month, the past few months, and the next few months a really difficult time of year for me due to a lot of trauma that happened in those months, and like the smell of the cold air and different things, and the feel of the cold air, different things like that bring back a lot of bad memories and bring up some flashbacks, and it's just generally a really difficult time for me. On top of that, I also had to explain why I wouldn't be able to take housing in certain areas that were related to that trauma. So I had to kind of relive that. Not too in depth or anything, but it was still difficult. And then I had to deal with sensory stuff and her upstairs with her music. And now I just, when my body and my mind are in fight or flight, I sleep. I don't mean to, it's just I can't physically stay awake. I just sleep. Like even like there's nothing that will, no amount of caffeine will make me feel like I can stay awake, and it is really almost impossible for me to fight it. But it's like an escape, I guess. My body's just, my mind's just, my mind and my body are just like trying to shut down for a little bit of time, kind of reset, like going into sleep mode or something. And I don't know why I'm making this, because I can afford to pay for my editor, my editing software. I can't afford it. So this might not even come out till like January 2024 or something, because I've still got like Christmas stuff to buy, and also anniversary, because it's mine and Jordan's anniversary on Christmas Day. 3 Cups, fiance, and mum, and I usually get a little something for the animals. Everything's just, my money's like really tight right now, like a lot of people's, and I'm not even sure I'm going to be able to get my cubs their presents. I was getting them like 2 things each, and it's 2 things that they need, but they can, so like they need it for like school and stuff, but they can also use it for their pastimes and outside of school. It's not just like 2 big things for absolutely no reason, just to spoil them. It's like practical presents that can be used for entertainment too. And I just don't know how I'm going to pull it off, and I'm praying to God that I can. I've already prayed, and after I prayed, I went back and looked at my basket online, and it had gone down from over £900 to, I think, about 500. And because I was able, before the things that I'd chosen for them were the only ones available, I prayed, and then I looked again, and I found the things a good bit cheaper and also brand new. So it went down from 900 something to about £500. And that's like something for all three of them. And then there's the second part of their presents I also need to get, but I need to get them from two different shops. I'm not sure the total. And my eldest cub, one of his presents, thankfully I already have in the house. I just need to figure out the other half for him. It's just a lot. Everything's just a lot right now. Today, especially. Like, I've been feeling a lot calmer recently since I started. I've been feeling a lot calmer recently since I started to, like, really get into my Bible. You're okay, Freya. You're alright. Since I started to, like, really get into my Bible and reading it for a good few hours, like, every day. I've been feeling a lot calmer. But I need to figure out how to carry that feeling of being calmer into real life situations and not just when I'm sitting alone, or, you know, nothing's coming up and I don't have to deal with anything that's like too real or too important. But at least it's giving me some respite from feeling that way 24/7. I'm gonna go because I'm just too tired. Thank you all for listening. I'm sorry for crying and getting emotional and being upset and stressed and all those things. And I'm sorry if I sound like a Karen. And I'm sorry if I seem like I'm being ridiculous. And I get, like, most people, they won't really, and they're blessed to not really get it. And I'm glad that they won't need to probably ever get it. And I hope they never need to get it. So I understand that it seems a bit ridiculous and I seem like I'm being over the top and nitpicky and petty and all those things. But I'm not trying to be, and I'm not meaning to be. I'm just very sensitive to a lot of things like sounds, smells, taste, textures. Even the feeling of like clothes can be a lot for me. Like the texture of clothing, the sensation of it, how it sits on my body, and how restrictive it is and stuff. Even like my splints and supports and stuff as well. It's just part of everything that's going on in my body and mentally and stuff. And I do try to deal with it and cope with it. And her music upstairs is always my breaking point, especially if I can't go into my room for some peace and quiet. Like, when I can hear it in the living room, it's annoying and I get fed up with her and stuff, because she knows what it does to me, and I should be able to just sit in my apartment in any room that I want to, doing whatever I want to, without hearing that droning sound. And I go through to my bedroom and I just do whatever in my bedroom. But when it's in every room in your apartment and there's no escaping and you physically can't leave, like I can't go outside for a walk, I've got like all these stairs and stuff in my wheelchair, I can't just go out for a walk or go to my mum's house or go to the shops or take the dogs out, or you know, I can't do those things. I have absolutely no escape. And when it's like that, when it's in every room in the house, in the flat, I can't go into another room to get away from it, and I can't leave to get away from it. So it's like I'm stuck with it, and it really gets to me, especially when I'm needing to just be still and quiet. Anyway, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go. And I need to figure out how I'm gonna get this edited. So thank you for listening. Again, I'm sorry. I just needed to I needed an outlet. And I wanted to share some positive news with you guys for once about the occupational therapist. Anyway, I love you. God loves you. And I'll see you all later.